In this training, I'll be demonstrating how to use ToolkitCMA to create a listing presentation and a property flyer. I'll also show you the various pages, presentation types, and features that the program offers. I'd like to start by showing you a sample of our standard listing presentation. Every presentation will start off with a cover page, and we have multiple different cover pages to choose from. Next comes the cover letter and an optional customizable text page, followed by several different marketing pages that are just preset templates that you can choose to include if you like them. Following those marketing pages come the CMA pages, which start off with your subject property page. We have two different versions of this. We have the one without the photo, or we also have a version where you can upload a picture of the subject property. This is the customizable summary CMA, and it will list all of the comps you've included, sorted by property status. After the summary is your map of comparable properties. There will be two different options to choose from. One will show the properties in a city view, while the other will show the properties in a satellite view. After the maps, we have more comparable pages with various formats. This one is titled Picture CMA 3 props per page, and it will show 3 properties per page listed horizontally with information and remarks, whereas this one is called the single comparable with map, which dedicates an entire page to each comp. We have 3 different versions of this. We have this version, which is the single comparable with map, but we also have the single comparable with aerial view and map, and a third version, single comparable with map and multiple photos, which will include the additional photos that we get from the MLS. Following this, we have the Picture CMA, 6 properties per page or 9 properties per page, for those of you who want to provide a brief synopsis of the comparables without going into too much detail. So we have those 2 different pages to choose from. And then we have this columnar format. This is the columnar CMA, 5 properties per page, but we also have a version of it with 4 properties, which features the subject property in column 1. Then you'll have your price adjusted CMA page, which will allow you to make monetary adjustments to your sold comps only. If you'd like to include the comparables but don't want to include the photos, we have several other options for you to choose from. These are no photo versions of the previous pages that we were just looking at. Next comes your property graphs. You'll have 2 different pages to choose from. And then the recommended price range. This is calculated based on the sold prices and any adjustments that you did on the price adjusted CMA. Next comes the pricing strategy page. This is a customizable page, and we'll go over how to edit this page later on in the webinar. You'll also have the option of completing an estimated net proceeds worksheet. This page will allow you to show the final amount that your client will receive from the sale after all costs have been taken into consideration. And lastly, the marketing plan of action. This is another page that is editable, so you can tell them what you're going to do to market their home week by week. And as with all of our editable pages, you can not only just customize them, but you can also set your default. So once you have the words the way you want them to be, they'll just always be that way if you make that your default. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. We have a few more marketing pages that are preset templates. And then we have pages that talk about you. We have your resume, your references, and these are templates that are in our system where you can just plug in your information to link up this page. or you can upload your own personal page if you like. And then we have Zillow reviews. You can link in various web reviews. We have Zillow, we have Real Satisfied, Reach 150, Testimonial Tree, Rated Agent, Google, and Delta. And I'll show you where you can link those up as well. We have a My Social Media page, which is dedicated to you and your web presence. So you can set this page up with your own Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter accounts linked, and they'll merge onto this page. And every presentation rounds out with a conclusion page. Now, ToolkitCMA has a dynamic display, and what I mean by that is it will adjust to fit the size of your screen, even if it's a mobile device. So you don't have to have an app in order to use ToolkitCMA. So that's handy. It's nice to be able to do this on any device, even your phone. On the home screen, you pretty much have everything at your fingertips. When you log in, this is where you're going to start. And on the left-hand side, you have your recent saves. So any presentations or flyers that you've created and saved are going to be listed here to edit, or you can click the PDF link to open it up for printing and viewing, or you can email right from this screen. The edit link is going to be here along with your save for 180 days. The shortcuts to the PDF and email are there for 30 days. And after that, you would click on edit to access those functions. Below that, we have recent shares. And this is for anything that you emailed out of your account or texted, as well as flyers that were posted to social media will all be listed here. And it tells you when you shared them, how you shared them, and whether or not they've been viewed. In the top right area of the screen, we have the Go To menu. I refer to this oftentimes as the Go Back To menu because this is what we prefer for you to use to navigate backward. Rather than using your browser's back button, we do recommend using our Go To menu to navigate backward while you're working in your account. Beside that, we have the Support dropdown, which is full of many resources for help. We have an online chat. You can click to view samples and run the demo. You can click to read the startup guide. You can go to watch tutorials. We have a lot of tutorials on various aspects of the program. You can click here to request a personal walkthrough. We do one-on-one walkthroughs. If you submit the walkthrough request form, then someone will call you at a designated time and go through the program at your own pace. We have a frequently asked questions section of our program, which has a lot of step-by-step instructions on all the different aspects of the program. Below that, we have a Contact Us, which will bring up a little email form that you can fill out and send to us if you've got questions and just want to shoot us an email, and then we'll get back in touch with you with your answer to whatever your question or concern is. Below that, we have our toll-free number. In the top, very, very far right-hand corner, you have your name and photo will appear here, and in that is your setup areas. You can click in there and you can save your work, you can sign out, or you can access all the different places to link up your pages and set up all of your preferences. We'll talk a little bit about some of these later on, but I'm going to move forward now. And before we do the presentation, I want to show you a sample of our interactive tablet presentation. So on the tablet presentation, it's going to start off with the cover slide, and it will advance to the map of comparable properties. The map will be on the left, and the list of properties will be on the right. Every colored flag on the map will correspond to a different property status. For example, reds are recently sold, green are on the market, and yellow are under contract. All of our maps are powered by Google Maps, and you can change the mode in which the map is viewed to satellite view or back to the regular map view. You can even check to see the terrain. You can move the little man onto a point on the map and see the street view of the property in question. Click the arrow up here in the corner to go back to the regular view. You can click on a property to see it on the map, and you can click the property 2 times to hop to the details of that property. This map in the upper left-hand corner is your navigation menu. So you can hop backward or forward throughout the presentation. The tablet includes a summary page, just like your CMA does on your PDF. And it has the single comparable as well. If you click the down arrows, you can see the multiple photos that came in. You can click on the photo to make it larger. If you click down a little bit further, you have more property details as well as some remarks. And going down a little bit further, you have your map and street view where available. And you can click through all of the properties and do this. This is really intended to be a complement to the printed presentation, so that it's designed to be presented on an iPad or similar tablet device. This is the columnar CMA. And then you have the price range. This you can adjust by using this little slide bar here. And then it has the resume, references, and a conclusion. Now, you can add slides to this, just like you can add pages to the presentations. And I will show you how to do that momentarily. Okay, so let's create a presentation. On the home screen, you're going to click on the button that says Create a Presentation and choose a presentation type from the list that's offered. I'm going to be doing a listing presentation for this example. You can click this checkbox to keep data from the last prospect if you want it to redo a presentation for the same prospect as well as the same comparables. And then if you check that box, it's going to recall all that information, so you'll have less work to do. I click Create New Presentation to continue, and now I've come to the Select Document screen. You'll notice as I hover over the page name, it shows me an example of what the document is. So that can help you decide whether you want to include the page or not. At the top, I can check all, check none, or check default, just to populate the pre-checked boxes that are the company's default. Or you can actually choose the pages that are your favorite pages. And once you have them in place, you can click this button at the top to set it as your default. And then the next time you come in to do a presentation, you'll already have those pages checked off. The Add Reorder Pages will allow you to add a page to or rearrange the document order of this specific presentation that you're currently creating. If you'd like to add a page to the presentations overall for moving forward in the account, that's going to be in this corner menu here where it says Personal Pages. This is where you're going to come to add a page to the account as a whole moving forward. If you want to change the document order for the listing presentations moving forward, you would use Change Document Order. The Add Reorder button is really intended for just this one-off presentation for the specific person, and it's not going to be in there for future presentations. I'm going to go ahead and click on Next to move forward. Actually, let me check a few more pages here. Okay, now I'm going to click Next to move forward. And then I come to the prospect information screen. Use Last Prospect. This button here will autofill the most recently entered prospect information. If the presentation you're doing is for a past client whose presentation was built in ToolkitCMA, you can also click on Saved Prospects to access a database table of all of your previous prospects, and you can choose your client from there. I'm going to go ahead and click next to move forward. The cover letter is customizable, so you can put in your own template here, and at the bottom you can save that as your default. If you wanted to save your work, that's in this top right corner. You would click your name and then you would click Save Presentation / Flyer and confirm the save, and then it's saved up to this point. If you need to go back, you would click on Go To go back, make the changes that you need to do, and then click Next, and it's going to remember the information that you had typed in. The customizable text page will give you this screen so that you can give your page a page header, as well as enter some paragraph text. You can even make it your default. If you are always going to want to use that page for the same thing, then say that as your default, and next time it'll populate for you automatically. Now I've come to the part where I have to import the property data from the MLS. Now, if the button for your MLS says Enhanced Download, the search will take place within ToolkitCMA. If the button for your MLS says your MLS name without the words Enhanced Download, your search will be completed in your MLS. You'll save a file to your computer and then upload that file to ToolkitCMA. I'm going to use the demo for this demonstration. If you need help with any of these, remember that we're here to assist if you've got questions or concerns. And if you're doing the export option where you connect to the MLS, on our screen beside the Connect to MLS button, there will be a little link for a download guide. That's just one page with a few step-by-step instructions on how you need to export the data so that ToolkitCMA will be able to read that data when you upload it. It is important to follow those steps, but they're really pretty simple steps. So now I've come to the Select Properties screen. If you need to make edits to the information that appears in your presentation, just click on the pencil icon, and that will open up the fields for editing. You can click on the house photo to see more details about the home, and you can choose while you're viewing that whether if you want to include it or exclude it, and then you can do that by going through the properties one by one, or you can just use the check boxes here, and at the top there's a master checkbox to check all if you like, or uncheck all. I'm just going to pick a few. And then click Next to move forward. Now I've come to the customizable summary screen. Since I included the page that is the synopsis page called Customizable Summary CMA, it is allowing me to pick and choose which fields I want to appear on that page. Whatever's here on the left is what will be on the page, and if you click Edit, you can choose to click the trash can to omit a field. You can use this is a drag handle. You can use the drag handle to move the field up or down. And you can click into this Add a Field bar, and that's a drop-down menu with all of the fields that we get from your MLS. So you can choose to include other fields if you like. And if you put in more fields that can fit on a portrait-oriented page, it will warn you when the page orientation has changed to landscape. And if you prefer it to be portrait, then you could omit a field or two until it tells you that the page orientation reverted back to portrait. You can click on Done and then click on Preview to see an example of how that page is going to look. And if you're satisfied with that, you can click on Next. Now I've come to the subject property input form. You could type in all of the details about your property, or if you downloaded the property from the MLS with your comparables, you can click here to choose the downloaded property and it will list all of the properties that you brought in from the MLS. The more bolded ones are the ones that I chose to be used as my comparables, and the grayed out ones are the ones that I brought in but I didn't check. And I can choose any of those and and choose to make that my subject property. And it'll confirm, are you sure you want to do that? And if you say yes, it's going to autofill all of those things for you with the data that came in from the MLS. And now I've come to the price adjusted CMA. This is a worksheet that allows you to put in price adjustments, positive or negative values in whole dollars only. No percent signs, no dollar signs, decimal points, or anything like that. You're just going to put in a whole number value. If you want it to subtract the value, you will put a minus sign in front of the adjustment amount. If you want to add value to the comparable, you will just put the whole number in without a minus symbol in front of it. On the left-hand column, these are the fields that we got from the MLS, and these are our defaulted fields, but you can click on them if you'd like to change them. And it will allow you to choose either another field that we got from the MLS, or you can choose to customize that field to your own field, or you can even just leave it blank. So you'll have options for all of those things. Down here at the bottom, you can click to save fields as your default. You would only do that if you customized them over here, and you always want that other different field set. You would then save that as your default. Normally, you're not going to need to do that. Restore fields will reset the page to the default fields and reset everything. Just for example, how you would use this page, if you see here that the subject has 2 bedrooms, whereas comparable 1 has 4, you would want to then deduct the value of 2 bedrooms from comparable 1 to make it more like the subject property. And you could do that across the board, take away the value of comparable 2 bedrooms, and comparable 3 has 6 bedrooms, that you would take away the value of 4 bedrooms. Just put a minus sign and then the value, and it's going to deduct. If you wanted to add to the value, then you just leave the minus sign off and type in the amount. It will calculate down here at the bottom. These numbers will change based on the adjustments that you have entered, and that will then adjust the average that's being used for the recommended price range. The program will calculate the recommended price range for you, and it will populate here. And that is, again, based on the sold prices and any adjustments that you've made. Now we've come to the pricing strategy worksheet. This talks about the market conditions. You're going to want to make your own edits to this, depending on how the market is currently. And then in the last section, you're going to enter in the price range, and then you'll click next. Again, if you want to make the verbiage your default for the next presentation, you would save that as your default by using this green button. And if you want to save your work, you would click your name in the corner and click Save Presentation /Flyer. The estimated net proceeds worksheet is designed to subtract, whereas the price adjusted CMA worksheet is designed to add value. So you don't need to put a minus sign on in these boxes. They're automatically going to be deductions. You put the amount, the proposed selling amount, in the very first box, and then all the anticipated fees that you expect them to encounter. And it's going to deduct all of those values and give you an approximate net proceeds value at the bottom. And again, you can make your default if you like. The marketing plan of action talks about what you're going to do to market their home from the first week on the market all the way in until the property sells. You're going to want to tailor this to what you really do normally and make that your default. Then the next time you come through, you'll just have to click right past this screen and it's already going to be filled in for you. I can check here to include the tablet version, and I can even click this button to choose my slides if I like. If you have not yet set up your resume, you may want to exclude the resume and or references from the tablet version. And then you can go ahead and click Create Presentation. That's going to pull everything together into a PDF so that you can view that and print that. It's going to create and then take us to the summary of presentation. And depending on your settings, it may open a copy of the presentation for you. If it opens automatically, you can print or save the PDF if you'd like, and then close it. If it doesn't open automatically, there's a button on the screen that says View PDF that you can click to view it. You are going to be prompted to save your work on this final screen. We do recommend that you click to save it, and it'll be in your account for 180 days. It's almost done. It's downloading my PDF. And again, depending on your settings, it might auto open like it did for me just now. And I won't go through this because we already went through a whole one at the beginning. Here we're prompted to save. Overwriting is going to replace the previous version. If for some reason you wanted to keep the old version that you had saved and this new iteration of it, then you could do save as new and give it a name and then click save. I'm just going to do overwrite because I don't need a multiple copy of the same presentation. This button, this box here, save the photos for the selected properties only, faster save. That's if you brought in multiple properties, but you didn't use all of them as your comparables. If you have this box checked, it's going to just, when it's saved, it's going to drop off the multiple photos for the properties that had not been checked off, the ones you didn't use. It's not necessary to do that unless that is your situation. And then you go ahead and you click save, and it's going to save your work. Now here on the summary of presentation screen, you'll see here, there is a button here to view the PDF. That's what you're going to click to open up your PDF for viewing and printing. We can click here to view the tablet version. We can click on share to email the presentation. When you send your presentation from ToolkitCMA, it actually includes a link to the PDF in the message. It does not send as an attachment. It sends a link to the stored PDF on our server. And when that link gets clicked, we log it that the person viewed the presentation. So you can know and gauge the interest of the prospect. So you would just type in the email address in this box. And if you want to send multiple, just separate them by commas. And then click down here at the bottom, send email. And it's going to go ahead and send the email to your recipient. The Zoom meeting button is very similar. It's an email form, but this one also includes a spot for you to paste a link to an online meeting. And then you would just click send email. You can text message your PDF. And again, it's going to send a link. You just enter the phone numbers that you want to send it to, separated by commas, and it'll be sent as a one-way text. And people are blind copied. It's not a group text, so don't worry about that. And then there's buttons here to save or return back to the home screen. If you found that you needed to make some edits, you would use the Go To button and decide where you wanted to go back to. And it'll take you back so that you can make whatever edits you need to do, and then just use the next buttons to move forward to complete your presentation. I'm going to go back to the home screen. Now I'd like to go over the property flyers. I'm going to click Create a Property Flyer to get started. And select a flyer template. This is going to show you all the different flyers that we have to choose from. We have over 70 different flyers, so it's quite a few to go through. For that reason, we've added this little option here of this filter symbol in the top right corner that you can actually use to filter out different criteria. So if you want a flyer that has a certain number of bullets, you can choose that, or a certain number of photos. or you can clear them out and see everything. The little heart symbol on each flyer will allow you to make it a favorite. And then you can sort by that as well and only show your favorites. I'm going to go ahead and do the flagstone landscape flyer for this demonstration. So you'll come to the compose flyer screen that has all the different fields for you to input the data. But if your property was listed on the MLS, you could click this blue download a property button and then get the data. I would suggest, since you guys have enhanced download options for both of your MLSs, for a flyer, I would definitely recommend using the enhanced option because that's going to give you the option to enter the MLS number and pull it in that way. I'm just going to use the demo again for this demonstration. When the property data loads, you will come to the select properties screen again. Normally for a flyer, it's only going to pull in one property, the one property you're doing the flyer on. But you do want to make sure that the little radio button is clicked off, and then you'll click next. And then you're going to see that it filled in all of the information from the MLS. And if you click on the photo box, it will show you all the photos that came in from the MLS. So you can choose which photos you want for each of the photo boxes that are on the flyer. Down here, we have an option to enter some text to create a QR code. The program will create the QR code for you, so you don't have to have a QR code generator. All you would do is paste in the URL that you want the QR code to take the person to, and we'll create the QR code. And then when someone scans the QR code on the flyer, it's going to open up that web page. You can also type in text like call me and your phone number, and if they scan the QR code, that text will appear on their phone. I'm going to go ahead and click to create the flyer, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so there's the flyer. Actually, this one looks really nice with your company's logo. Now again, we're being prompted to save. So you want to do that for sure, and it'll stay in your account again for 180 days. You can click this button to view the flyer to open up the PDF for viewing and printing. You can click email flyer to open up the email form. You can send it by text message. Click to create another flyer. Save your flyer if you haven't already. And then you have options here to post to Twitter, post to Facebook, or post to Pinterest. I do want to point out something here. When you text a flyer, we have an additional option for contact groups. So you can just type in a phone number, but if you've set up contact groups, you'll have this little icon of a cell phone that you can click on, and you can choose to blast your flyer by text message to a whole group of people at once. And then once you've checked who the groups you want to send to, you would click send text, and it'll send it by text message to all of those people all at once. Now, to hook up the contact groups, to set those up, that is in this top right corner menu. You would go into contacts. And I've got a couple contact groups already in here, but if initially you're not going to have a contact group, you have to add one. So you click on add and you give it a name, and then you would save it. And then once you would select that group, and then you can add to it by clicking add and either manually enter the name, email, and information for the contact, and then click save, or you can click on upload to upload a whole spreadsheet at once. And if you click this little question mark icon, it gives you all the information you need for how your spreadsheet needs to be formatted. These are all the acceptable formats that we can process in. So yeah, once you have your contacts set up, you'll be able to text your flyers to the whole group at once. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home screen. And the last thing I want to go over is some of these areas in the setup section in the top right-hand corner. So you'll see here, you can save your work, you can sign out, you can open up your agent profile to make adjustments as you need to. If you want to upload a new agent photo, you would click on Agent Photo. Web reviews. This is where you go to enable those pages for the Zillow and Real Satisfied and so forth. There's also a page in the buyer presentation for Yelp reviews, so you can enable that page as well by clicking this box. And then you can choose which Yelp reviews you want to include for your buyer presentation. Each of the different websites, they have different identifiers. Zillow, we want your screen name. For Real Satisfied, we want your vanity key. We can help you if you're not sure what the identifiers are. Just reach out to ToolkitCMA support. Again, we have all these wonderful support resources up here in the support menu. Moving on, we have options to change sign-on information, either your email or your password that you use when logging in. You can click on Delete Saves to go to do some housekeeping if you want to check off things and delete them. The settings area, normally you're not going to need to go in there unless directed by support, but it does have some account settings like the way that the prices are calculated and the ranges and the rounding and so forth. We already talked about contacts. Next, I'll talk about this subsection down here called Customize. In that section, we have an option to change the cover page photos. These are the 3 photos, the stock photos that appear on our general cover page. We have a general cover page, but we also have a cover page where you upload your own picture of the subject property. But for the one that has the 3 pictures, you can come here and change those pictures and choose from our stock photos. You just click on it and click the photo that you want to use. And then that's the photo that's going to appear on your next presentation. You can go in here to personal pages if you'd like to upload a page of your own into your presentations. You would just choose on the left which presentation type you want to add it to. Give your document a name. Choose your file. And then decide if you want to include a page treatment or not. And then you would click to upload. And then you would click on Finish, or you could click on Document Order to go over to the Change Document Order section, which is also accessible here. And this is where you're going to come to change the document order by using these little drag handles to drag and drop them into the placement that you prefer. You can choose to check or uncheck the ones that you want to be your default. And you can click on Save to save your work. Last but not least is to change my tablet slides. This is where you're going to come to upload slides to your tablet, the interactive tablet version. You would click to add a new slide, choose your file. In this case, you're going to want it to be a landscape-oriented JPEG file type, whereas when you're uploading pages, personal pages, those need to be PDF file type, and you want them to be 8.5 by 11 portrait-oriented. So you would go ahead and upload your page, and then you can choose which ones you want to be bookmarked. Those will show up in the navigation menu, and which ones you want to be checked or unchecked by default. And this auto saves, so you don't even have to worry about a save button on this particular section. This does conclude the webinar. I hope you found it interesting and informative. And if you do have any questions or concerns, or you'd like to set up a walkthrough, go ahead and use that support menu and get the help that you need. Thank you, and have a great day.